welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K. Today we continue to look at the Daniel Robinson case. On this channel, we've looked at it extensively. I have a whole playlist for this case, and Mr. Robinson has been here with us. He's one of our favorite guests, and I'm going to bring him right up. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Gisela. Hello, Grizzlies.
They're all so excited to see you. Everyone is supporting you from all over the world. You guys can say in the chat where you're from so that you can show, where are you sitting right now supporting finding Daniel Robinson. So, as I said to you behind the scenes, there's a lot of people that I saw on the poll that actually don't know much about Daniel's case. So I'm very excited for them to learn about it today. And who best to hear it from than Daniel's dad. So before we get into actually we should give a recap first, right? And then the reason we're having the stream today, you guys, because there's a big search happening tomorrow. So if you are in the Buckeye, Arizona or surrounding area and you can make it out there, please go and help out in the search. We'll get more into that. Okay. So I've got some bullet points if we need some. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your son, about Daniel and what happened and all the things we need to know?
Yes, thank you, Gisela. First of all, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me on this morning. Yes, Daniel, he's my son, of course, the youngest of the four in that group. He's a geologist, graduated out of College of Charleston in Charleston, South Carolina. Daniel, he's like I said, his idea of life is to be a part of nature, do things with nature. He enjoyed that the most. Enjoy just being out in nature and things like that. Geology is his passion. The science of it. Where rocks come from, et cetera, et cetera. Things I just don't understand as a father, but he really enjoyed those things in the science aspect. Very friendly, oriented person. He's definitely family oriented as well. He's the person that always brings people together. But my son, he decided to move out into Arizona, and he just first time ever leaving South Carolina. We're from South Carolina. He's a native there. But started to go out to Phoenix, Arizona to start his life and his career. He landed a job with a company called Matrix New Worlds, also called Matrix Southwest Groundwater Engineering Company. They hired him on as a field geologist. And what he does is he gets assignments to various well sites all across Arizona. And those well sites have to be tested to make sure they produce at least 100 years of water. That is something required by law in Arizona because developers are developing lands and also bringing in communities. And communities have to have water. It's a desert state, so those groundwaters have to be there for those communities. So my son's job is very important. He is out doing his job as usual. Got two assignments on June the 23rd, 2021. And he went out to one well site, supposedly went out to one well site to do some assessment of a well. He took some pictures, some picture logs, but that's when the story gets really terrible. As some may know, Daniel was assigned to the second well site. We both was in Buckeye, Arizona, but that's when it gets sketchy because everything is based on a person who last seen my son from that point. The story is that my son met him out on Sun Valley Parkway. It's a road that's outside the Sonoran Desert. They talked for a brief moment. And then once they made it out there from that shoulder of the road, my son followed him into that desert. He went out 1 mile west and 2 miles north. And that's what took him to this well site that he would be supposed to be working. According to that one person as well, they only spoke they made it there around 9 o'clock that morning. They spoke for a brief moment, for about 10 or so minutes. My son, by 9:15, he was gone. Never be seen again. Later on, about a month after that, his vehicle showed up in a ravine farther out into that Sonoran Desert, about 3 or so miles farther. And, of course, the story goes on from there.
Right. I'm showing the maps here as you're talking because I was trying to
Yes,
pin
yes.
exactly where the car was found. I mean, is this sort of correct? I'm not too, I don't
It
know if it
is.
was
It
this
is,
one
by
here.
the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, that's the marker there.
Okay, great. So I could see this area here. I can actually make us just for a second do this so that everyone can see. And I won't even make it full screen, you guys. So this is in Buckeye, Arizona. And where you can meet for the search is on this Sun Valley Parkway and West Cactus Road, right?
That is correct. And that's on the West Cactus Road right there, the blue line. But if you come up north, you see the
Yes.
larger road. That's where we'll be meeting at that point. The reason why we use West Cactus Road, because that little dirt road there don't have a name. So
Yes,
we
yes,
had to
yes,
use
exactly.
West Cactus Road as a landmark. And
Yes,
so, you'll see the signs and things like that of people directing you in and where we need to be.
yes. So we're going to get more into the case now. But if anyone can, if you're watching this and you can't watch the whole stream or anything like that, if you can go out there tomorrow, you're meeting at 7:45 a.m., right?
At 7 o'clock. It'll be 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock
I
you
changed
meet.
it to 7 o'clock. Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. Meeting over here to help search for Daniel Robinson. It's been 611 days. Can you believe it?
Yeah,
My
it's
word.
gone by, and we just had one. Just had what some people call the anniversary on 23rd, and that's one of those. Yesterday, it was one of those days that for my family is always a constant reminder.
Yes, yes. Um, Spiritual Couture Collection says from Arizona, followed closely. Losing or missing a child is heartbreaking, as we know too well. Sending healing and truth. Nice, thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Nice.
I really appreciate that.
Yes. Okay, so sorry to interrupt you there. So I was just trying to show where the car was. Then
Yes, yes.
and that was about a month later that his car was found in this area.
Well, if
Wow.
you when I start looking at the map now, if you go further southward, but that's close. That's close enough. But it's a little further south. But yes, I do
Okay.
kind of I recognize that area. So it's the area, but
Yes.
a little further south.
Wow. Okay. So just to put the bullet points back up here so we can see what's going on. Sorry, hold on one second. Okay, so this is how his car was found.
Yes, yes, and
All
it was
right.
sitting on the side, and it was that's the 20. The pictures are deceiving. It's a 20-foot ravine. It was sitting on the side there. There's clothing. It appeared to be Daniel's. The officer asked me, hey, they told me that everything from his everything taken off his body down to his socks and underwear, and it was in a pile there, about 3 feet away from the vehicle. His safety vest was another foot away from the pile of clothing, and the boots was out there. His cell phone was found inside the vehicle. Um, you know, Personal effects like the cell phone, the laptop where you get his work stuff from. That was also in
Yes.
the vehicle. Cases of water. Outside the vehicle was the clothing, like I said, and they said they found the wallet with Daniel's IDs and things.
I mean, that in itself, when the police say there's no indication of foul play, with everything in the vehicle like that, his clothing outside like that, and they told you that he walked off and joined a monastery? I'm always.
Yeah, that's one of the theories. They first started with the first theory that in that ravine, Daniel crashed there, and that's just how they said it was. Hey, the good thing is he didn't sustain any injuries because he had his seatbelt on. And then in the same breath, they said that he suffered a severe head injury that would cause him to get out through the sunroof and dismember his clothes. Because they're saying that head injuries cause you to do that, and he said maybe he went under a tree somewhere to cool off and succumb to his injuries, and that wild animal got him. The last part of the theory was once we was going to look at the vehicle, he said that maybe he joined the monastery, wanted to be away from his family, join the monastery and become a monk. That was the part that's really also was very not good to hear. Saying the circumstance at the time at that to hear that kind of theory. Yes, because first of all, it didn't make sense. The other part is more kind of offensive as well.
Yes, yes, exactly. Okay, so if we go back to the day around, just for everyone, if you guys are wondering, if you've been here and followed the case with us from the start, then thank you so much. Maybe there's some things that may need a refresher. So if I'm asking questions you've already heard, then don't worry. And of course, David's got his own channel. Please help find Daniel and Nightbot sharing it for us throughout the stream. Please go subscribe there because all the questions that you may have, David answers there frequently as well. Okay, so if we go back to the day that Daniel went missing, what time was that in the morning? June
Well,
23rd, 2021.
yes, on June 23rd, 2021, according to the only person who say he's seen Daniel, like I said, he made it to that well site at 9 o'clock a.m. On the 23rd. They had that brief conversation, and at 9:15, he said Daniel was gone, out of there. They'll never be seen again. Now I can't tell you, and I want to jump the gun a little bit, Grizzly, if I can. One of the things are, that really puzzles me now is because we already know that when I was able to get access to Daniel's phone and some other items, we did find out his records and stuff. Daniel made a phone call at 9:28. So the guy said Daniel was gone at 9:15. Why is he calling at 9:28? But I do know before he even made the phone call at 9:28, he also sent a text message asking for directions. Those things went unanswered. It was no answer to the text message, and there was no answer to the phone call. So it didn't match. The timeline didn't match what the guy was saying about
Yeah.
the timing that he seen Daniel.
Yes, and someone's asking, who did he call?
Yeah, Daniel. Well, Daniel. Well, but 9:28. It was Toucan. Is the guy at the well
Oh,
site.
yeah.
So yeah, that's who he was calling at the time. That was the last call, the only call and last call. Is right to him.
Which is very interesting because the guy that he met at the work site, if you guys don't know, is not someone he regularly worked with. It's meeting up as a geologist at the site, right, with
Right.
another guy from another company, right? They're like
Yeah, he's
contractors.
for Weber. Yeah, it's called Weber Waterworks. It's a different company. Daniel's at Matrix New World, Matrix Southwest
Yeah.
Groundwater. But yes, Weber Waterworks.
Yeah, so then they met up there, and that's where we have only one person saying he was acting a little strange, and he was getting in his car and saying, do you want to rest, and do you want to go home, and all kinds of questions. But we have no one else as a witness to say that that is what Daniel was saying. That's
Right.
according to what he's saying. So
Right.
the last person to see Daniel, so that is interesting, especially when he said, well, at around 9:15 he drove off and into the desert, and that's that. But now you say there's a call and a text
Right.
asking for directions from that same person, which wasn't really previously mentioned. And I didn't really see that in the police report either, right?
No, not at all. And that's what I got from Daniel. Daniel was asking for directions. He didn't know how to get that place. This is his first time, by the way, ever been out into that area since he'd been working for that company. It's supposed to be the first time he met the guy in life, according to them as well. And like I said, he made that phone call after, but I didn't know that he adjusted his story. I always go by the first initial story. Officer Cruz, the one that took the initial report, they say that's the time a person recollection is supposed to be as sharp is when they at the beginning, because things can kind of change as time go by. But yeah, he gave this story, the timeline and what happened and what he said happened and things like that. But that changed, like I said, once he got to the next officer, he adjusted time to 9:30. He said, "Oh, Daniel drove up at 9:30." So those are kind of things that really put pause to me at the initial part of this case, because the last person that seen my son should be the person they scrutinized a lot more.
Yes, and I mean, why don't they? You know what I was thinking? I was thinking that they say there's no foul play, so it's a missing persons case. But as we see in many cases we follow, there's press conferences and updates and everything. Where Buckeye, did they officially have their own press conference ever on this case for
I have
Daniel?
never seen any. I haven't seen any at all. I know I have my family press
Yeah,
conference. I have
you
two
had,
of them so
yes,
far,
we saw
and
your
yeah,
one, and I mean, then I was
right.
thinking, wait a minute, you had your own one. You've organized everything from the start, from the grid-based searches in the desert. It's your 48th one tomorrow, right?
Yes,
I think
yes. It's about
48,
around
yeah.
that.
So
I kind of lost track, but I know it's over 45. So yes, had to be. That's about right. Yes,
yes, I think I saw on the website it's something about the 40. I think it's the 48th one. For more than
yes,
45 weeks, you searched. And for anyone asking, sorry, Pernille, I saw your question earlier. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, everyone. PT. All the links on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. So if you want to donate or volunteer in other ways, you can click donate here. It takes you to the GoFundMe. Volunteer in other ways. You might find that you could actually help out in other ways from all across the world here. You can print
yes.
Daniel's flyer and hand it out everywhere. You can see events here. You can volunteer to search right here. Must everyone still click on here for tomorrow as well to sign up to search? Or can they just show up? David,
That's right. Oh yes, yes, yes.
must they click on there for tomorrow? Do they have to like register if they can come out and help you, or can they just arrive?
Well, one of the things I'm asking, this is a little different, is because normally I just have people go to the search page, the volunteer the search page, and all the information be there. You just sign there and you sign up on that page itself for the search. But this time it's different because I have the developers out there in that area. They're developing the area where Daniel went missing, as you know, Gizzle, they've been trying to get me out that desert for a while. But I did have some agreements with them that I can go ahead and do the search. That's why I'm saying one of the reasons why I kind of calling it almost a last search because they want me off their lands. And so under the agreement is one of the parts of the agreement was that also they want to know how many people would be out on Saturday. So the easy way for me to do that is to do things through what I call what is called Eventbrite. And so what I did is put through the Eventbrite to making it like an event, and that way people can
Okay.
sign up for the searches and I can get the numbers.
Okay.
But
I'm just
yes,
looking at
yes,
your.
the information there on the website. The website there, just sign up on the main page. You'll see the information where it say, "Hey, sign up for the search." You go to the event tab, which I'm
Yes.
kind of happy to see that, but at the same time, you know, um, on the front page there's a lot more information. So yeah, go through the page, and it's either way
Yeah.
you go, it's going to take you to Eventbrite, right there where you at, Gizla.
Right here where I'm at. Okay. And we go
Yes,
here. Yep. So if we go there and click on it, public
yes,
search for geologist Daniel Robinson. So if you guys could please share this on social media as well, that would be helpful too. Just now someone sees it on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere and maybe they can help. Public search for geologist Daniel Robinson. Saturday, February 25th, 7 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. Sun Valley Parkway and West Cactus Road, as you can see. And there's an
right,
about this event. Sorry if it's a bit small, you guys. I'll zoom in for you. There we go. About this event, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. There will be a public search for geologist Daniel Robinson. We've done some live streams, you guys, of the search. Is really hot
yeah.
and grueling. I mean, it's quite something to see. And the grid searches you've done, I mean, everything's been mapped out as well. Mostly, let's just see. Where was it? This one. Look at the sector map. Oh my word. You've searched a lot of land.
Yes,
Wow.
23,000 acres of it.
Oh my gosh. And I mean, that's all volunteer based. Literally, you guys, the police, they didn't organize that. They haven't had any press conferences for this case. I mean, I've also written them a letter before that I read here
Yes,
as
you
well
have.
on YouTube. So if you check the playlist, you can check it out. It's
That's
just
right.
it's very sad. Yeah.
Well, what I really appreciate too, a couple of things. Early on, when I first started going in these searches really strong, you were there. You were there. The Grizzlies was there. With the live stream, you was helping me get that going, and I really enjoyed that. And when I say enjoy that, I was able to reach out to more people, and because of that,
Yes.
so that was very helpful. So I want to tell you thank you again so much, Gizla, because you have been doing a lot with that. So the Grizzlies show up and they make me feel happy when people run, hey, I'm a Grizzly, and they show up and really in support and stuff and really strongly out there and still out there. People like Rose, she's out there still. She will be there this weekend as well. So just
Wow.
really happy about that and want to say thank you again. You and the
Yes,
Grizzlies.
and
Thank you both.
yes, I mean, the Grizzlies love you. We support you from all over the world. I mean, I wish I could be there helping in the search physically as well.
Oh,
I'm so
you was
sad that it's already
there.
been so long. I can't believe it because we've been talking for a long we've known each other for a long time now, but it's like
Yeah,
611 days today, you guys. I was looking at how long has it really been. I mean, it's so sad. Daniel's birthday was on January 14th, right? You had a hike
that's
for
correct.
Daniel as well. That was really nice. So if you guys do want to follow the case and updates and things, then you can also follow all the social links are on pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. So Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I mean, you make TikToks too and everything. So yes,
Yeah.
go there, and follow along in the case, and please help us share everything because the more the better. So for your search tomorrow, is it a grid search again, or what is your plan?
Well, my plan is first of all, I want to back and say, after hard work and pressure, we was able to get law enforcement to do their own search the week before, last weekend. And, excuse me, my team and I was a part of that. They allowed my team to be present on make sure we oversee the search that law enforcement did. Is sponsored by the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. And like I said, they did some areas that I wanted to do this weekend. That was very hard to get logistically get people over to do. So I'm really happy and pleased that the law enforcement was able to go over those areas. Even though I'm still going to have some people going to that area, some small group going to the area because, as you guys know, searches that the law enforcement claim they have done, they have come up with zero anything, not even construction cone. But we have found human remains out there. We have found suspicious items things like that. So this search is based on the areas that haven't been touched yet. That's still part of the sector map that you pull up. And so what we'll be doing is doing searches, line searches. I have two sets of line searches that's going to be running right behind each other to get this one area. We also going to have people with drones that will be doing some areas, get some aerial footage, places that on the other side, on the east side of Sun Valley Parkway, where I was unable to get searches done. That's close in proximity as well. Also, like I said, to an area where um some of the, what I call them, it could be hasty search. Hasty search is not line searching. It's pretty much like hiking. It's going to be west of the well site where Daniel was supposedly been last seen. Also, we have a group of people with ATVs, UTVs, ATV, 4x4 type vehicles that we're going up in the area north on the Hassayampa River. And then I have the Arizona Rangers who will be going into this area, what we call Pride Rock. Is the area where exactly where I had the law enforcement go check last weekend. So we're going to double check that area anyway. So it's going to be a big, massive thing. I have over 200 people already signed up. Really, really happy. I needed a minimum of 200, but we don't got over the 200 mark. So I'm really happy about that. So now we can do more as more people sign up and more people show up. We can do more.
Yes, that's wonderful. Let me just quickly, I want to show you here, just so that you guys understand this case. I mean, David, Daniel's father, who's here with us now, has literally done everything he possibly can to find his son. If you've ever followed a missing persons case, you've never seen, even though David always says, but that's what a father does. But we don't often see this amount of determination, of course. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about your background in a moment. But he got a private investigator very quickly, right? He organized his own desert based grid searches. He launched a website. He organized teams to distribute flyers that he printed and throughout the country. He also made it available online to print yourself. He bought a drone and then scoured the desert for clues. He went to CrimeCon in 2022 and told Daniel's story to the world there and networked with people. He's been interviewed by Dateline NBC, News Nation, Fox, Nancy Grace, and many others. He actually started a YouTube channel then too in 2022 to tell Daniel's story and update everyone on the case on live streams throughout the week, every week. He held candlelight vigils, including a day of remembrance to then connect other families with missing loved ones, and so much more. So if you're able to help, please go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. I mean, you've done everything.
That's
And
just seeing it on the screen there is it's amazing to see that. But my feeling was all everything is driven by my love for my son. And so when I see that, I'm like, wow. I'm saying wow, but because the only thing I'm thinking is I'm looking for Daniel and trying to do everything I can. So that's what my mindset is. I have to do what I can as a father to make sure I do that.
I mean, did you also? I mean, I didn't. There's some things I didn't list there. Like I think you wanted to start a foundation, and there's so many things that I was just like, I could go on and on. I could make pages and pages, you guys. A foundation and all sorts of other things that David has done to help find Daniel, his son. Have you
Yes,
ever
the
seen
foundation.
this? Yes, yes. Let us know about the foundation. Is there a link, or
Yes.
I couldn't see it there on the website right now, so I want to share that. But okay, tell us about the foundation, and also so that people know your army background maybe a little bit.
Okay, yes, yes. Well, the foundation was derived from working out there in the desert. Believe it or not, Gizla, some of the Grizzlies as well have missing loved ones, and they're out in the search with me, and that's a lot. And so to tell me their stories, and in all the way to be human, you can't hear those kind of stories and don't want to act or do something to help other people as well. I know my family and I were going through our pains, but it's okay to help other people. So Dan Russell Foundation was birthed that way in my mind. I want to do what I can to try to help. And then God blessed me to have a team that came together to help me get the dream off the ground. So to be able to help other families, we didn't launch the foundation yet, but it's a true 501c3. We able to take people who want to donate right now and to be able to get a tax write-off. So we do have those things, but we have a launch date. The launch date is coming up this year in 2023. So that's the reason why you don't see everything up and just running yet. But we have a launch date. We have some things that we put into place right now. So people want to, they can go to the website, this DanielRobinsonFoundation.org, and go to the website. But that's the way, you guys, if you want to donate and stuff, and help out that way. But yes, we will have a launch date later this year. Putting things together. My team is working hard in the background to make sure that when we up and running, we up getting help for other families. So that's what we're doing right now.
Yes, that's amazing. So, as you guys can hear it, not only is David doing all of this, but even connecting other families that have missing loved ones and has a foundation that's launching this year to also help other families. Isn't that amazing? I mean, goodness. That's why they say
Yeah, and
extraordinary
we
father.
have to.
Yes.
We have to. It's impossible to go through a certain thing and don't help others as well. So, yes, definitely, definitely.
Yes. Okay, and you were in the army, right? So you never leave anyone behind, right? That is your mentality.
Yeah, and it's
Yes.
something that we are taught in basic training. So those who've been in the military, the Army, for one branch, I can't speak for the rest of the branches, but I do know we do have that same concept. We're trained to never leave a fallen comrade, never leave a battle buddy on the battlefield. So regardless of anything, anything happened in wartime, we're together. The United States, we will bring our persons back home. And so one of those things is, when you have a missing child, the first thing that came to my mind, I was really frantic because I heard that the Buckeye Police Department wasn't going to look for him. I was over 2,000 miles away. First thing, started heading out west, mentally heading out west, not getting there fast enough. Of course, you can become into an emotional wreck. One thing I learned in the military is that put the mission first. So at the time, I say, hey, you know what? My son is my mission. So I took the strengths from basic training, the things I learned in the military, how to become a soldier, and I used those same basic principles to go search for my son because I know I needed those things I did learn. I need to be strong. I need to that way I can be effective for Daniel. Don't get into my emotional side because that way I can be very effective and also just make sure that I wasn't going to leave him out there. Make sure at all costs I'm gonna have law enforcement, whoever, or myself. I just have to be out there myself. I'm not a person to sit down and do nothing, so I had to go out and make sure I go out there and search him for him myself. When I heard those news at the initial, they weren't going out to search. Yes, I had to go out there and do that.
Yes.
So it's based on those principles.
I think your army training helped a lot. Because in the beginning, when you saw, wait a minute, so they found Daniel's car about a month later, but they're like, oh, it was just about, it just seemed like, how did you miss it? But okay, right there, you're like, okay, I'm getting a private investigator. You've also, I think you've done some forensic tests in the meantime as well, right?
Yes, and one of the things is, my investigator, and the reason why I went got him, of course, because of those theories from the Buckeye Police Department, for one thing. But if anybody want to know about what happened, when they hear things from law enforcement, say, hey, they have information from the black box data or from the infotainment, that came from my investigator. It didn't come from the law enforcement. Those are things that we turned over to law enforcement that we had to go find ourselves. When I say ourselves, my investigator, myself. So yes, we did go through a lot of Daniel things, as well as the red transfer paint on the vehicle that wasn't found by law enforcement. That's why they don't have it in the report. Um, the impressions on the windshield, those are things that are being examined. For instance, the damage don't match the terrain; those things was examined. The 11 additional miles also came from my investigator, who read the black box data, and also the 46 initial cycles that's after the airbags deployed. That was also given by my investigator, the timeline, it's things like that. So all the work that was done and finding out what exactly happened on the scene came from an investigator. And as you know, Grizzly, I want to throw this in as well. Instead of the law enforcement accepting these hard physical evidence, they decided to hire their own private investigator, who's also an estimate reconstructionist as mine, and just to rebut the story. Hey, look, he went to a dealership, talked to some dealerships that are going to the manufacturers, the people who make the Jeep, to get try to rebut the 11 additional miles on the vehicle. They also had their person who have never seen my son's vehicle, never touched it. I know I kind of be kind of funny when I say this, not do it on purpose. That he never touched it, smell it, or taste the vehicle, but yet made a full report about it. Something he have never seen in his life. Didn't ask me to look at the vehicle. They asked me about the clothing. They asked me about examining the seat belts to anything, but made a full report about what happened at the scene without looking at any evidence. except for pictures, I'm sure, from third party. So those things are very one of the things that was very problematic also with that.
Yes. Okay. I must ask you some questions about the car so that if anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, then they'll know. But there's some new people that maybe 200 or 300 that just joined. So let me just quickly give a recap. Thank you all for being here. If you wouldn't mind liking the video and sharing, hashtag please help find Daniel. That would be great. And on everyone's
Thank you.
social media, please help find Daniel, including YouTube. You can subscribe to David Robinson's channel. Please help find Daniel. So Daniel Robinson went missing on June 23rd, 2021. He was 24 years old at the time. His birthday is on January 14th, and this year it was celebrated with a hike for Daniel. He was last seen at a work site in Buckeye, Arizona, and he's a geologist. His car, a blue-gray Jeep Renegade, was found by a rancher on July 19th, 2021, almost a month after his disappearance, and just 2.5 miles away. So that's already a little bit strange. And then there have been 47 volunteer-based desert searches for Daniel that David Robinson, right here, his dad, has organized. Police said there's no indication of foul play. So if this is just a missing persons case, then where are the press conferences, the updates, the flyers, the rewards, and everything we usually see? We just don't see any, of that usual, I don't know, determination, care that we want to see, out of a police department. As well, his car was found, like this is a picture of it. His wallet, keys, and phone were found in the vehicle. His clothing was found outside the vehicle. And is this correct that his Instagram posts were all deleted shortly after his disappearance? Because that to me is a bit of a red flag.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, his
Yes.
phone is found in the car, but his Instagram posts are deleted afterwards. I just mean in the Idaho case, you guys, then it's like, oh my word, like Kaylee's LinkedIn was deleted, and that's a huge thing. But here it's like, oh, okay, his Instagram, I mean, it's a huge thing. His Instagram posts were all deleted shortly after his disappearance. Okay, so now with the vehicle, that's what I wanted to get to based on what you were saying. The other strange thing, so there's strange things with this case, you guys, a very mysterious disappearance, and we just don't see much happening unless it's David himself literally doing things so proactively like you've never seen with all his army training. But not only was the vehicle found like this, clothing outside, phone, keys, wallet, personal belongings in the car, and a lot of water. So it's not like, there's no water. There's a lot of water. So there's that. But then
Untouched.
also
Yep.
they found an accident investigator, the PI you had, found that this car had driven, there's an 11-mile amount that hasn't been accounted for that the car drove.
Right.
And it was turned on. The ignition was turned 46 times, right?
That's correct.
In an attempt to start it. I mean, that is so strange.
Yeah, one thing if I could throw in real quick too, to go back real quick, I'm going back to the vehicle, but to go back to the cell phone, you just describing about how the Instagram post everything been wiped off of that. But once the phone showed up, when the vehicle showed up, the phone showed up. The detective said he put it in the back pocket, and nobody touched it. Some other strange things with the phone as well is missing the memory card that I just purchased for my son a few months before he went missing. He needed a larger memory card. He wanted, I guess, for his job or whatever. That's been missing. That's been taken out of the phone. Law enforcement claiming that they don't have it or they haven't seen it. The other part is when you go into the phone, everything been wiped out of the phone. His Google histories to the locations. He have a app called Mile IQ. The data from that was erased off. The pictures, everything from Instagram, his accounts and stuff like that was taken off the phone as well. And there's certain little things. Everything that was relating to the young lady was wiped off the phone, except for her phone number and name and phone number. But everything else, from text messages to whatever you may have about those two transactions, those was erased from the phone. But everything else was intact. Like, for instance, my total conversations with my son, text message, wild phone call log, all that stuff, family, friends. But those specific things has been erased off the phone. And nobody, they say they don't feel like that's foul play or any indication of foul play or something strange or anything like that. So law enforcement looking at things a whole lot in different world than from the average person like myself would look at.
As you always say, what if it's one of their own? What if it's their son? I wonder if they would be the same, I
I
doubt
know it
it.
wouldn't. It would be totally different. Yeah, if this is a law enforcement officer, I know for sure that every law enforcement officer in this country would have been raining down on Buckeye, Arizona, to find this officer. They would not have ever looked at a cruiser sitting on the side in a ravine and tell the family, hey, here's his things for safekeeping, his gun, his badge, his uniform, and hey, it's nothing to see. He's just a missing person or whatever. No, none of that would have happened. They'll be out there looking really hard, spending millions of dollars, as we've seen in some cases, to search for a person.
Oh yes, yes. Even to search for a criminal, as we say. Brian
Yeah,
Laundrie, you guys, that's what we're talking about. That like so many
right.
dollars were spent just looking for him. Where is the looking for Daniel effort? Susan asked a good question actually. What exactly is known factually? So did that Ken guy or anyone say, the clothing that was found, is that what he was said to be wearing?
Yeah, and that's what the things Ken, he's saying in his recollection, he can't remember what he was wearing, but he said he knew his boots was untied. That's the only thing he can remember about the whole look of my son. His shoes was untied. My son was born one hand. So for him to have a missing his shoe untied, I can see that happen. Danny not tied shoes, believe it or not. For some people may think that's difficult for him, but it's something that he had taught himself. Something that we tried to help him with. He was a little kid, but he's been figuring those things out for himself. But it's plausible that his shoes on top. But you'll think that a person would, if he can remember everything else, would remember what he's wearing. He couldn't remember what Daniel was wearing. I can say the clothes that's on the ground that you see on the scene. My daughter, she's also at the time living in Phoenix, Arizona. Here, Daniel riding that vehicle many times. She's over each other's house. She don't recognize the clothing that's on the ground. So we're not even sure that's Daniel's clothing. So that's the reason why I've been pushing and still pushing law enforcement to do forensics on those clothing, forensics on the airbags to make sure that because airbags, when they hit someone, it rub off DNA. Test the airbags as well as those seats, the fiber for fibers, clothes fibers, and test the red transfer paint on the vehicle. All that kind of stuff need to be done, and those things I'm pushing for, and the reasons why. Get some
Yes,
answers.
yes. Yeah, and how close are you to getting answers about those forensic tests? Because that could be very helpful.
Well, I was able to get the Tempe Police Department. My son was a resident of Tempe at the time he went missing. Tempe is a city right outside of Phoenix, and got that department to go and do the forensics on the electronics. As you were saying earlier, I had a little light forensic done on the cell phone, but they did everything from that cell phone to two other cell phones we found near the crash site. They did it on his personal computers, the laptop that's found in the vehicle as well, just different things like that. So once they came back with those items, that was helpful. I got some information I will share with you on that as well. But still, I needed the forensics done on the vehicle, like I said, the clothing, all that kind of stuff. Still need to be forensically tested. Tempe don't have a really good facility for that, but Maricopa County do. So you guys probably hear me all saying, "Hey, I'm pushing for Maricopa County to take my son's case." Because they have damaged, Buckeye has damaged my son's case for one thing. The other part is Maricopa County is the county. Their jurisdictions is over Buckeye's jurisdiction, over Tempe's, over Phoenix. All these departments are in Maricopa County, so they're like the chief um, jurisdiction. So, but they also have the facility that I need for them to do the forensics work. They can have a rapid test. They have a new big facility that they have inherited from our tax money, and to be able to rapidly test backlogs of DNA evidence and things like that. So definitely pushing in the background for that department to take that vehicle. I'm close to it. We have some talks in the background right now. I'm really close to getting that done as well.
Yes, and I mean, I see a lot of people in chat saying, like, have you had contact with the Cold Case Foundation, EquiSearch, what's happened with the FBI? But I mean, I believe just about everyone has reached out to you and you've had contact at some point. Some have
Yes,
even said the case doesn't fit their profile, right? So
right,
most, I know from you, most of the answers are yes, yes, you've been in contact, but it didn't really go anywhere. Um, is
right.
there anything like what can people do that are watching right now? What can they do to help you the most right
Well,
now?
definitely. What's happening now is this search here. Once I get past the search, I'm starting to re-gear on some new things that efforts to find Daniel, and so it's coming to a more stronger point of getting jurisdictional change, and phone calls, text, not text messages, but I don't think they have text messages for us, but phone calls, emails, and things like that, to the departments, but kind of watch along what I'm saying in the public. So those public pressures helps out a lot. So people want to help me with in that endeavor. That helps out a lot. I am planning a protest. The protest, as you know, has been on pause for right now. That was for the Maricopa County Sheriff. So you see what happened there. So we had some talks in the background that caused me to put the pause there. And then y'all saw the search. And that was one of the reasons, some of the things they're doing right now. That's not it. They have a couple more things they have to do before the end of this month, that we have some back talk. If that don't happen, then the protest will proceed. We already had those discussions. But for right now, yes, they did do one step, and that was to get as you guys seen last week, they did the search. But yes, if people want to help right now, that's some of the biggest things. I still have the flyer distribution program, and that definitely is to putting out thousands of flyers all across this country. I still need funding for that. So if you guys want to donate and stuff and help my efforts, and the way to explain that, sometimes people look at the money that's sitting there in the GoFundMe. Been working hard. You probably noticed that, Grizzly, as well, from day one. So since I started GoFundMe, one of the biggest things was to keep my boots on the ground, remain in Arizona. That was the biggest part because that's where I'm effective. The other part is to help with the searches as well, as you know, the flyer distributions. Also going back and forth doing leads and things like that. So everything all together in combinations of stuff. I've been utilizing money to get everything done that you see in some aspects. I don't have the equipments and things that law enforcement have, so I try my best to do everything I can on my own. So those are the big key moments. If you ever want to help, they can do those things. Share Daniel's story, constantly share his story, because if you guys help me share the story, Daniel's case won't go cold. They won't put his case into some file somewhere in the back closet and say we get to it when we get to it. And I'm refusing to let that happen. So if you guys want to help in that way as well, thank you.
Yes. I'm just putting that in the chat now as well.
Oh, yes,
So
thank you.
you guys are asking for links. But if you go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you'll see everything there. You can see what's happening tomorrow, February 25th, 2023, a public search for Daniel. All hands on deck. Law enforcement will be present. We really hope so.
Yes,
Will
yeah, they
they?
say I got some assurance that some say they're coming. We'll see. So
Yeah, I really,
we'll see what
really hope
happens.
so.
Yeah.
So David says, yeah, I've organized over 45 weeks of searches for my son, covering over 35K areas of land in which law enforcement did not attend to show support nor spent a dime on the searches for my son. This is their time to show me that they care further than words. I invite all law enforcement to come with us. So if you guys can help out in the search there, please do go out there and help out. You guys generally stick together. We've streamed it before. It looks very safe, as you know, you stick together. There's safety checks and briefings before the time. You can also sign a petition here. You can donate here. I'm just going to open all this for you. There's the event one where you could sign up for this event tomorrow. Volunteer to search, volunteer in other ways, and you can print the flyer. So the petition, let's see where it's at. If you've never signed the petition before here on Grizzly True Crime, your goal now is 150,000, 124,673 have signed. So if you go to this petition and sign it, remember name, last name, email. The last step, which a lot of people forget, in order for your vote to count here, is to click the link that is sent to your email address. It might go to spam, so check the spam folder. Click it so that it gets added over here. And hopefully the petition can also make a difference, so that, you know, Buckeye and whoever can see you've got lots and lots of support.
I'm glad you
Yes.
put that mention out about clicking that link into the emails, because that's one thing I neglect to tell people as well. So sometimes those numbers, like you said, do not count if that don't happen. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yes, absolutely. And if you guys, I see a lot of you are like, whoa, you never heard of this case. This case is absolutely mind boggling. It's mysterious, and like, how does someone just vanish literally into thin air? But also, then I think the most disappointing thing for me, and I'm going to ask you in a moment, but is to see how the police have really handled it. You know, just they seem very defensive and argumentative and like, no, we've done this and we've got that. And even if they've done some stuff, it just, you see so much more in other cases. You see, you know, press conferences and updates. And as you guys know, we cover lots of missing persons cases. This one, I just feel very, very sad. It really feels like you've been neglected tremendously. And I really hope you'll find Daniel. I actually really hope that, as I said, I want to have coffee with you and Daniel one day.
Yes, you will, and I'm gonna have that faith, Gisela. But yeah, you do, like you
Yes.
said, the pressure. You know, it shouldn't take pressure for law enforcement to move, and that's the only reason. Sometimes you see things they say, "Hey, we did this and do this." Those come by pressure. You know, pressure from you guys, and that's what I'm saying. If you guys want to continue to help, that pressure that you guys are help putting on law enforcement to do things, it shouldn't take a whole entire almost 2 years for them to go out and do the search they did. last weekend, for instance. It shouldn't have took over 6 months for them to go resume a well that I had went in to find suspicious items that something look at top of a human skull. It shouldn't have took that long for the things like that happen. Those things are only happening because of pressure from you guys, as well as our persistence in the background, myself and my team, working in the background to force them to do certain things. So, with some in some cases, like you say, it just comes automatic. Those things are being pushed for law enforcement to do certain things.
Yes, and I'm sure you've experienced your fair share of disappointment throughout this entire process of 611 days since your son went missing. What would you say are your top three? We can say top three disappointments, and then we can do the top three of what's been really great.
Yes, yes. Well, one of my biggest are, and it's going to sound kind of shocking when I say this, is having a full family support. And I had to say that that's because of one of my truths for my life. And that's why sometimes people say, "Hey, Mr. Rouse, I want to see you. Where's this person? Where's that person?" I can't speak for anybody else. I can't speak for my family members, but I can say that I'm here searching for Daniel because I'm not saying nobody loves Daniel as well. I understand that that's the way I express my love is to find my son and be actively looking for him. I believe in faith. Faith is one of my key words of life, and faith is an action word. So I have to put actions with my faith. So that's one of the biggest disappointments. But the other part is having law enforcement, like you said, to show the actions that I want to see in some of these other cases, and that's the reason I'm pushing so hard. It got to a point, Gisela, that I'm at a point of feeling like, hey, please come to the search. And I'm talking in the background. I want them to come to the search so I can say something positive about law enforcement. And I'm looking, itching for something great to say. Just show your face, show the community that you can be there. This is the kind of talks I'm having with those in the background. Show the community that you can be a part of the community. This is a community things have been going on for over almost 2 years now. And just show up at least for one of my searches. This may be the last one in that area. Show your face, that type deal. Give them opportunity. So disappointment is some of the things that's been happening. They haven't brought any kind of answers to my son's. Despite of all the information that we give to the police departments, they have not moved the needle to want to look at Daniel's cases farther than just a missing person. Despite of our knowledge of my son, his mindset, just everything. That's very disappointing. The last disappointing thing, I can't really think of anything right now, but yes, it's just a lot of disappointment. Some of the little smaller ones that's out there for myself. This whole efforts. Me personally, like you was reading all the list there of things that has been done on my behalf, that I have done out there and with the team and and the volunteers out there. To be honest with you, a lot of times I feel like I haven't done enough. To be honest with you, and that's what it's like. Unless somebody's listed like you did there, I won't be able to see that because my mindset is always constantly, hey, look, I'm going to try to
Yeah.
find different ways to find my son. I have to do what I got to do. Try to make sure it don't go cold. Make sure I'm really engaging with law enforcement. Make sure they do something. Try to get involved with the community to try to help the community to help me out. If you guys, that's why it's like one thing I want to put out as well. The good things. Going to try to jump the gun a little bit. Gisela, you don't say much in a lot, but I talk about all the time. You've been there for me from day one. For instance, one of the biggest platforms. I didn't know about YouTube content creators and things like that. When I met you, you had me on the show. You've been making these intros and things like that. You showed me some of those abilities about how YouTube has been formed, used to get information out. I didn't know things. I just use YouTube as, hey, how to do something around the house, how to change a light bulb or stuff. I don't know. But when I met you, you put a lot of energy and efforts into teach me about certain things when it comes to getting information out because I really needed that. You helped form you didn't say this, but you had formed the channel that I'm using right now. It gave me all the information. So I really appreciate that because I would have never known how to start a YouTube channel. But I tell people on my team, you gave me a full tutorial how to get things going. So I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the thumbnails. The picture on the top of there is what you created. So people don't know, but it's a lot of efforts and things that you put into just even helping with that. The live streams that I'll never forget out in the desert. You say you wasn't there, but really you were there. But in your own form, you're not there physically, but you were actually there. and to be able to get those stuff out. So those are the positive things that's happened as well. So I really want to tell you thank you so much for that.
Yes, it's my pleasure, and I wish I was there. I mean, I did feel like I
Yeah.
was there in the desert. I was thirsty that day. That was like, it's so grueling. I can't believe what you guys. I was just sitting here streaming at you guys, and if you do want to see it, it is on the playlist as well. And David's also been with us on Patreon and on YouTube members to celebrate Daniel's birthday, which wasn't this year. I think it was last year. So we've
Yeah.
had lots of streams together, but just watching that desert search, it is so tiring. I can't believe the stamina you guys have out there, just grid searching and looking for every possible thing, any clue to help find Daniel. Man, and
That's
again,
love.
tomorrow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
love from the community because again, law enforcement say they went out to search for Daniel. It was the first search was almost 3 days after he went missing. They came back empty-handed. 2 weeks later, they decided to go out again with Silver Air Patrol. They say, and they came back empty-handed. But in the meantime, when I say this, they also I'm going to put in. They also searched the area thoroughly. They say of where the vehicle eventually will be found, but they came back empty-handed. Then the next search after that happened when the vehicle showed up, and it still came up empty-handed. But it's strange to me when where the vehicle showed up. For instance, we found a human skull near right there but they used cadaver dolls and things they say they use, whatever. We didn't have those things, but it took the love of the volunteers and the efforts from the volunteers, people who really cared, who was out there looking for Daniel, trying to rescue him. Don't know Daniel, but it's like they know Daniel. There's out there working hard tirelessly. We had the searches from 5:45 then to 11 o'clock, and we'll be way out there to 4 o'clock in the afternoon searching because people's dedicated, wanting to go out and make sure they do everything they can. So we spent long hours out there in that sun, 118 degrees at times, out there in the desert. But yes, we're doing a whole lot more than with law enforcement.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I forgot about the human skull, you guys. There was near the car, there was a human skull found, and they tested it, and it was thankfully not Daniel's. Um,
Right.
but I mean, that's pretty scary. That is really scary. And you found other bones, animal bones,
Other
some, but
than
also
yeah.
human remains out there. I mean, and then there's just nothing to see here. Even if I still say, if they say this is just a missing persons case, okay, then do the usual thing like flyers, rewards, press conferences, update the public, show, don't let the case go cold.
Right, right.
Man,
Yeah,
but
and
thank
support.
goodness you
As you
won't.
asked,
Yeah.
there was a reward I put up initially for Daniel, and I asked the Buckeye Police Department to help match some of that up. That's before I really was going with this GoFundMe, and help me match it up. And they tell me they couldn't. It's some political talk. Oh, this wouldn't. If it's a criminal case, we can do it. Because if I do it now, it's a missing person case, and Sheriff, that's Chief Hall at the time. Larry Hall is his name for the Buckeye Police Department. But they didn't want to do anything. They want to spend a dime. Go back to disappointment. That's one of the disappointments as well. To watch law enforcement, I had to go on GoFundMe and I say big word big, as because I'm not used to asking people for anything, and so just had to go out and do things humbling. It's an humbling spirit for me, humbling experience to ask for funding. But was able to have to do that when I can look at law enforcement, I look at some of these cases, and they're spending this money to go out and do certain things. I had to go charter a helicopter, for instance. That's not easy. Charter a helicopter to go out and do a search and things like that. Have planes try to fly over to look for a search. Those things are costly. You know what I'm saying? So they watch law enforcement not do anything, financially wise for the search. That was very disappointing, especially when they decided to get that private investigator. Same money I was asking for certain type of drones that I needed at the time, and just to watch that, and yeah, that's very hurtful, very hurtful.
Yes, yes. Okay, you see, the time flies. I know you've got a very,
It
very busy
does,
day ahead
yes.
of you.
Yes,
I'm
that's right.
so honored that you
Yeah.
have been here with us. You guys, I'm gonna call it a day here. Unless, do you want me to continue to talk a little bit while you go? I don't mind, because I don't know.
Yeah,
Do you have
sure,
time now?
sure. If you can,
Do you have
yes,
time to
yes. If
talk behind the scenes, or can I keep going?
That's right. That's right. Either way, that'd be wonderful. And I hope I can get to come back on again too, Gisela. I
Yes.
miss coming on with you and have that discussion. So anytime you need me, we can make it happen.
So rapid fire, just bullet points. So you guys, tomorrow there's a search happening. Are you gonna have ongoing searches, or is this a final search? What's happening tomorrow? There's a big search. That's what I know.
Tomorrow is like I said, it's for me it's reluctant. It's a hard feel for that.
Yeah.
This is my kind of like my last push out there in that area of the desert. Couple reasons because they want me out of there for one thing. The other part is, we covered so much out there, covered a lot, and it's a last little few. That's why I need at least 200 people to cover this last little few that I wanted to search. So with a heavy heart, saying I may be calling this pretty much my last search out there in that Sonora. The reason I say pretty much depends on what we find, depends on what the investigation leads us to again. But for right now, those will be once we cover those areas, those will be done. We'll be pretty much done with that area of the Sonoran Desert where Daniel went missing.
Just know we support you fully. I've known you, for a while now, and I know that there's a very, very hard feeling to be like, whoa, okay, we're going out there, and it might be the last time in the area. As you said, they don't even want you in the area anymore. Lovely.
Right.
So
Yeah.
just know you've got our
Yeah.
full support. It's not like, oh no, what now? We will support whatever you're doing next. The Grizzlies have got your back always. And I really hope
Yes.
that I always say this, like I really hope you find Daniel, but I really hope you find him alive and well, and that we can have coffee one
And
day.
that's the thing. That's the thing. You're right. We will, and that's the hard part. Lastly, yeah, just the whole mindset, the whole thought process. Always that way going out the desert. Of course, I don't want to find desert Daniel out there in that desert, because that would mean that he's deceased. And so I pray for that all the time. That this whole search effort is a whole bit waste of time. At the same time, if he's out there, I need to bring him back home. So if it's not a waste of time because we need to be out there to bring him home. We never leave again. As I say in the military, we say we're not going to leave a fallen comrade. And I'm not going to leave my son. So those are the reasons. Those are two things thinking at the
Yes.
same time.
Yes, exactly. Well, we are with you in spirit for tomorrow as well. If anyone can physically be there, please be there. I'm going to go over it just one more time, all my little bullet points and presentation, and just recap everyone that's here right now and make sure that I share everything as well. I know you have a very busy day ahead. Thank you so much for being here with us again. It's an honor to have you here always.
Thank you for having
And
me
we'll
here.
we'll keep in touch, and I will see you again soon.
Thank you so much, Gizla. All right,
Okay,
see y'all
guys,
soon.
let's stick. Okay, bye. So stick around, you guys. I'm quickly going to play this intro type thing that I made. It's an intro, but now it's just for the next portion. I'll just be with you for a few more minutes. Okay, welcome back. This is just a quick recap on the Daniel Robinson case. We just had David Robinson, Daniel's dad, with us here again on Grizzly True Crime. He's been here quite a few times with us. He is a Grizzly, and we are always so honored to have him with us. So if you don't know anything about this case, Daniel Robinson went missing on June 23rd, 2021, and he was 24 years old at the time. His birthday is on January 14th, and this year it was celebrated with a hike for Daniel. He was last seen at a work site in Buckeye, Arizona. He is a geologist. His car, a blue-gray Jeep Renegade, was found by a rancher on July 19th, 2021, which was almost a month after his disappearance and just 2.5 miles away. I'm going to share all the links with you in a moment. I'm just quickly recapping here. It's also interesting that his car was only found 2.5 miles away, whereas, the police had said they'd done aerial searches, they'd used helicopters and drones and things, but unfortunately, they hadn't spotted his car. There have been 47 volunteer based desert searches for Daniel. Police said that there was no indication of foul play. They believe that he had an accident in the car, even though the car has 11 miles that are unaccounted for, um, as well as the ignition being turned 46 times, to try start the car again, which is interesting if you combine that with the 11 miles. Like, what is going on there? But if they say there's no indication of foul play, they think he crashed and hit his head. And because of a concussion, then, some people might get really hot and then want to undress because there's clothes found outside the car. And then he walked off. I mean, it's just, that's very hard to believe. And for no other, area or to be explored. Nothing, no other scenario. It's just like, okay, nothing to see here. And as I say, if it's just a missing persons case, which there's no such thing as just, but you know what I mean? If it's just a missing person case, then one would expect press conferences from them, from the police, from the Buckeye Police Department, updates, maybe a reward, something like that. And there hasn't been a single press conference from them. So David, Daniel's dad, actually had a press conference himself. And there was some law enforcement present there, but they didn't have the press conference. You know what I mean? Also, the car was found like this. This is a literal picture that Buckeye PD actually provided on their site. And Daniel's wallet, keys, and phone were found in his vehicle. His clothing was found outside of the vehicle. And his Instagram posts were deleted shortly after his disappearance. So just a very, very odd case. Right. So Allison says need to go over to the playlist, see about his employer. Yeah, there's lots. I've read the entire police report. We've had David on multiple times. I've done hours worth of coverage on this case. So please do look at the playlist that I've made on this case so that you can get all the updates there. And a lot of your questions may be answered there. And if not, David has a YouTube channel. Please help find Daniel. And you can go there and he does regular, very frequent live streams, and you get to ask all your questions there. Many get asked every single day, the same questions all the time. So make sure you watch some of the other live stream replays so that you can see if your question has been asked as well. But you can just join a live stream there and ask questions, right? So David has done everything that he possibly can to find his son. He got a private investigator when he felt like, oh, wait, okay, they're not taking this seriously enough. But that's it, private investigator, right? He organized his own desert-based grid searches. He launched a website. He organized teams to distribute flyers that he printed throughout the country and also made an electronic version of the flyer still available, that you can print and pass out. He bought a drone and scoured the desert for clues. He went to CrimeCon in 2022 and told Daniel's story. And by the way, the drone footage, I've shown some of it on my channel, and I've also uploaded some on his channel. So you can go check out the drone footage there as well. He's been interviewed by Dateline, NBC, News Nation, Fox, Nancy Grace, and so many others. He started a YouTube channel in 2022 to tell Daniel's story and update everyone on the case on live streams throughout the week, every week. And he held candlelight vigils, including a day of remembrance to connect other families with missing loved ones, and so much more. So if you are able to help in any way, you can go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com. Yes, the Instagram being deleted, asked Jamie, is very suspicious to me, because his phone was found in the car. The phone, keys, wallets, of course, one can access if one were to walk away voluntarily, for instance. Don't know in the desert how that is possible unless you have help. But if you were to, one could remotely delete your Instagram pictures or account or something, but it's very strange. And of course, there's been certain things deleted from his phone and others not. So it's a bit odd, right? The next search is tomorrow, February 25th. You can meet. Let me show you quickly. 1 second. We got some map time and everything here. You can meet at this area. It's in Buckeye, Arizona. So West Cactus Road. They always say West Cactus Road and Sun Valley Parkway. This is Sun Valley Parkway. And West Cactus Road is here. But as David told us, they actually meet here on this dusty road. Just one hop further. You should see everyone there. They're meeting at 7 a.m. To start the search at 7:45. They've done so many searches out here. You can see it like this. Look at this map. Oh, my word. I mean, they've logged everything of everywhere that they've searched, grid searches with former Army veterans and volunteers, and just lots of Grizzlies out there as well. So if you are here now, if I missed your comment and you've been out there, thank you so much for being out there and representing, wearing the Grizzly gear, and supporting David Robinson. There is, of course, as well, if you go to pleasehelpfinddaniel.com, you can see, you can sign the petition, you can donate, you can go to events and sign up for tomorrow's search, for example. You can volunteer to search. It would be under events for tomorrow. You can volunteer in other ways, and you can print the flyer. You can read all the updates here. David launched this website himself and has been keeping everyone updated for like 611 days since Daniel went missing. You know, it's been a long time. And for OGs, original Grizzlies that are here, we've looked at this case a lot, and unfortunately and so sadly, there's still no answers. So, okay, they've got flyer distribution, ambassador meetings, all kinds of things here. There I am as well, interviews and lives. Honored to be there as well. Please help find geologist Daniel Robinson. So here you can see about Daniel's disappearance. I'll just quickly read this to you. Daniel Robinson was last seen the morning of June 23rd, 2021, leaving his work site in Buckeye, Arizona. He was driving his 2017 blue-gray Jeep Renegade and is believed to have headed west deeper into the desert terrain. That is based on who he met at the work site, which was another contracted person, not someone he worked with regularly, some guy called Ken or Kenneth. It's also on the police report, which I've read to you guys before. And then on Tuesday, July 19th, Daniel's vehicle was found by a rancher a little over 2.5 miles from the work site in a remote part of the desert. On that day, the rancher reported the vehicle to Buckeye Police Department, who later did a search by ground and drone. The vehicle was recovered and Daniel was not found. Daniel has an innate passion for adventure and is known to travel in opportune moments. However, he always has communicated with family on his travel plans. That day, Daniel was on the job when he went missing and was said to have been last seen by a worker from another company who worked with him at the well. He made plans to be with family before going missing and looked forward to that meeting in July. Daniel's a scientist and he loves nature, loves his family, expressed plans for his future. He even built a whole new computer, you guys. He just built a new computer. He was so excited about this Jeep Renegade that he got. So it's a bit sus. A missing persons report was filed the evening that Daniel was last seen. And since then, our family have utilized all avenues to get law enforcement's help by asking them to launch an investigation into what happened to Daniel. Our next goal is to continue pushing forward to find out what happened to Daniel, even if it means no help from law enforcement. We will continue to seek support from anyone who wants to help. We won't settle for the minimum amount of searches and support sworn law enforcement officers and detectives are giving Daniel's case. The way that Daniel's case was handled from day one by law enforcement can easily cause him to become one of the many missing without ever having answers. The website was created by the Robinson family. There's no other website that's associated with us. This is the website where you'll get up-to-date information that we can share with the public. And also, I express the facts as I know them. Please join the blog community chat to discuss with the family directly. Thank you for your support, love, and prayers. God bless David Robinson II. Okay, so there's a little recap for you there. And there's also a map here if you want to do some map time from the website. You could see a letter that David has written. It says, "Dear law enforcement," as well. I've also actually written a letter to Buckeye PD before, and I did get a response. So I read you guys the letter I wrote, and I also read the response. So if you want to go see that, you can see. And someone in chat was saying we all need to write individual letters. We've done that before. This was so sad. We've all done it. There was the hundreds of Grizzlies that emailed about a year ago now, and yeah, unfortunately, we're in the same place. Here's the Buckeye community page, Buckeye, Arizona. They say Buckeye police continue to investigate the disappearance of Daniel Robinson, who went missing June 23rd, 2021. Investigators are currently following up on tips received by the department. At this time, foul play is not suspected. The timeline below will be updated as the investigation progresses. What I find odd is that they say the investigation is ongoing, but yet they tell David that there's no investigation because, it's a missing persons case. So it's a little bit, I'm not too sure what, if they think, okay, well, they also handed everything over. They handed Daniel's car, phone, everything over to David. So I'm not sure without that how they're continuing with an investigation, but I really hope that they are, right? Anyone with information on the disappearance of Daniel Robinson is urged to call the Buckeye Police tip line. So they've got that there as well. There's also tip lines that you can contact David directly and his team. The Buckeye one is 623-349-6411. You can also submit an anonymous tip online or through text message at our Nixle website. Here they've got a timeline, okay, of everything. June 23rd, 2021, Daniel Robinson, last seen leaving the job site near Sun Valley Parkway and Cactus Road just after 9 a.m. And then Daniel's father reports him missing around 7 p.m. Buckeye Police ground search near the job site. Daniel entered into the National Missing Persons database. On June 24th, Buckeye Police ground search near the job site. Investigators access vehicle Uconnect system. No GPS data available. Attempt to ping Daniel's phone for location unsuccessful. Tempe Police check Daniel's apartment. On June 25th, Phoenix Firebird helicopter aerial search. Buckeye Police ground search near the job site. July 6th, Buckeye Police search Daniel's apartment and Buckeye Police ground search near the job site. July 9th, Civic Air Patrol aerial searches, as you can see, and they've got a whole timeline here. Okay, I'm going to go through it a little bit. July 15th, review Daniel's financial records with assistance from family, ongoing. All right. I'll make sure to pin this all in the timestamps for you in the description box. I'll chapter it all out so you can find it easily, okay? July 19th, 2021, Daniel's Jeep found in a ravine less than 3 miles from the job site. Multi-agency search with ground and aerial searches. That is a picture that they have, the one I showed you. July 21st, 2021, investigators download crash data from the Jeep. Buckeye Police extract data from Daniel's recovered cell phone. Okay. It's a lot to read through right now. We've gone over this all a lot, but I'm just showing you that Buckeye also has, like, their bullet points. We do like bullet points. A timeline of events. I just want to go down to see where they're at now. So they said November 6th, 2021, human remains found with evidence indicating a different missing person. Remains sent to medical examiner for testing. November 23rd, 2021, the FBI was briefed on the case, and we thought the FBI is going to step in and help, but it didn't turn out to be that way. Ongoing investigative activity. This is what they say they're still doing. But yet, as I say, there's been no press conference, no public updates from Buckeye, which is a little sad and concerning. And David is out there week after week after week doing all these desert searches, and it just sucks that law enforcement hasn't been there. Once or twice we've seen them there. We saw them on one of the streams as well. It feels like, it just feels like he's very neglected. So, yes. Okay, so we got that, and then I'll show you one more time. I hope this is helpful to all of you who've never heard about this case. Please help find Daniel.com. If you go there, you're going to learn everything you need to learn. I see lots of you are still asking, how can you sign the petition? Click on sign the petition. Remember, when you do, I think it's this one. Yeah. Fill in your name, last name, and email address, and then make sure to click the link that goes to your email so that you can actually be counted in this vote. I'm sure this would have actually been double if everybody knew they had to do that. It's just one of those things that they don't really tell you here. Actually don't know if there's a pop-up or not. I think sometimes I've seen a pop-up. But some people don't know they actually have to click the link in the email inbox to count their vote. So you can literally go there and you can sign the petition. You can also donate. So I'll show you here. The GoFundMe is set at $350,000, which always shocks people. But if you think it's been 611 days since Daniel went missing and David has funded everything himself, to me, it can make sense, right? The cost of forensic tests, which he's busy doing, and the searches and renting ATVs, the drones, renting a helicopter, as he said, and all the stuff. Oh, that money can go so fast, so fast. So if you want to donate here to the GoFundMe, it is also from the website. You can click there, donate, and there's more information here too. Okay. So you got all that. So he said here, every dollar will be used to cover expenses for a private investigator, printing of missing flyers, desert search and rescue team, hotel expenses. I'm currently covering hotel costs to stay in Arizona as long as possible. Any other resources and expenses to continue the search, as we could see there. I mean, some of those ATVs that they had rented, which is made for that specific terrain, because some people have been out there like, no, I'll just search all the the ravines and stuff with my own car, and then the car gets damaged. You need specific vehicles to go into certain areas. So some of those ATVs can be $6,000 a day for one. Even that, it's a lot when you actually want to run it on by yourself, RJC says this sounds very similar to the Dylan Rounds case. Could there be a connection? I mean, there are similarities. I'm not sure if they're connected. Especially because they've got someone in the Dylan Rounds case in mind as a suspect, right? So yes, so that's about what I can tell you now. Everything else is on the website, and everything else is on my playlist too. I hope that if you've never heard of this case, that now you have, and that you will pay attention to it as well. Please go subscribe to Please Help Find Daniel. You can subscribe there and listen to David's updates there. And we wish him well for the search tomorrow. If you can be out there and help out, that would be amazing. There's been lots of grizzlies out there before. So just hold on one second. I just want to see something quickly. Okay, yeah. So anyway, that's it for now. I just want to see the poll. Yeah. Poll shows we need to share. That's what I'm trying to just quickly get to without hearing myself. Hold on one second. Okay. Have you heard of Daniel's case before? All right. So let's see what you guys say. 28% say yes, I follow it closely. 20% say yes, but I can't remember much. 48% say no, I've never heard of this case. 48%. And 5% say, I don't know, remind me or update me. Yeah, 48% of you guys don't even know about this case. That's sad. David's also been on the Kendall Ray show, as I say, on Nancy Grace's podcast, on Dateline NBC. He's been featured there. Many, a Crime Con as well. You can watch those interviews. There's lots of the clips and things that he puts on his channel as well. Please help find Daniel. So you can check it all out there. Go check out the Kendall Ray episode, that interview that David did as well. That was on that Mile Higher podcast. So there's lots to catch up on. Thank you that I could bring you this case. I really appreciate it. And Lorraine says, thank you, G. You've been covering from the beginning. Right? OGs, no. Lorraine. Yes. It's actually so sad. It really hurts my heart, to still be here today and know that it's wow. From the beginning we covered, and of course there's so much hope, and we still have hope, but it's like, man, it's 611 days later. It's very, very sad. Sugar Bud Starburst says, I live in Arizona, never heard of this case. See, that's sad. Jenny says, I signed the petition and the only link on email was to share on Facebook. Okay. As long as it counts it. Sometimes there's an email where you got to click to make sure your vote is counted. Yes. Okay. Yes, Stefan. G was the first, before Dateline, etc. And there's also John QQ has covered it as well. There's many channels that have covered Daniel's case. But yes, David Robinson is a Grizzly. He's been here with us from the beginning. And I just feel so bad for him and for Daniel's family. So if you want to show your support, please like, share, hashtag please help find Daniel. You can find him on all social media, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Please help find Daniel. The only one that's different, I think, is the one on Twitter, which is at please help find 4, because, there's a limit in characters. So yes, the more we share, the more people will know. Exactly. So thank you so much for being here. As I cover this case again, I'm going to add this to the playlist too. I hope you'll go catch up there. Thank you, mods. And thank you all for being patient. I was a little late today. Yeah, we were just communicating. And so I'm glad we made it today around the time we said we would. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one.